All right, welcome everyone to Speedrunner Showcase, featuring Hyran. Hyran's very first time on Speedrunner Showcase, but you are not a newcomer to the Marble Up community. Why don't you say hi, Hyran?
Hello everyone, my name's Hyran. I've been playing Marbled Up since the start of 2019, and I've been speedrunning the game since the start of 2020. It's been a fun ride, and I'm finally happy to be on the show.
Perfect. Yeah, I'd love to hear more about your speedrunning history and stuff as we get started. But on that note, let's begin the run, and we'll see how it goes.
Let's do it.
There we go. There we go. Now, this was a big milestone run for you, Hyran. Your first ever sub 40. Joining a very exclusive club for that run time. How are you feeling about that? other than that first reset.
Yeah, no, it feels good to be part of the sub 40 club. It was definitely something I wanted to shoot for a long time. A lot of people were, asking if I was ever going to go for it. Because I've been sort of doing the full game category on and off, like, for quite a while. So it definitely feels good to have actually, put a lot of time into it and finally see some results. It's one of the best feelings ever.
Nice. Very nice. Yeah, it's kind of been a long-term goal for a lot of us. I know sub 40 was a long-term goal for me. But we're starting out with your specialty, really. A lot of people would argue. This chapter 1 is maybe one of, if not the fastest that I've seen in a featured in a Speedrunner Showcase.
Yeah, no, I think you might be right with that. I'm looking forward to see how it turns out. I sort of forgot what this chapter 1 was like, but if you guys don't know, I did speedrun a lot of chapter 1 RTA at the start of my speedrunning career, so that's what I was known for quite a while. And so naturally spending that much time on that category, I did become quite proficient with it and with a lot of its strategies. So, I mean, it's definitely, I don't think it's been totally beneficial to my overall speedrunning career, but the most important part is I did have a lot of fun with it. So that is definitely a big bonus to have.
Yeah, very good. It must feel nice to start off with a good time at the beginning of your full game runs.
Yeah, it's good to guarantee a good first split. It helps with the mental game, I think.
I could see that. All right. And yeah, like, I've never... Oh, yeah, the missed super speed, but you're still going to come in about 7 or 8 seconds faster than I've ever done chapter 1, which is very impressive to me.
Yeah, no, that super speed miss was really unfortunate, but this was supposed to be a no reset run out of chapter 1, so I just wanted to get out of the chapter and get the runs going for the stream. So yeah, I thought I'd just, bite the bullet and, in the great scheme of things, still a good first split, so I thought, there's no point resetting. So I was happy to sort of be disciplined there and just sort of keep the run going.
Very cool. Yeah, so if you were to guess how many attempts at full game you've done up to the point where you got this PB, how do you think it would be, like, in terms of your playtime?
That's a great question. In terms of attempt numbers, that's really hard to scratch. I would maybe think probably about 200 attempts, maybe a little more than that. And in terms of overall playtime, I believe on the day that I got this run, I was just under 900 hours of playtime on Steam. But yeah, that's just from memory. That might not be totally accurate, but yeah, that's a roundabout estimate. Yeah.
Yeah, that gives us a good idea of just how much dedication and effort you've put into this game. So, very cool.
Yeah. It's cool to have a game to sort of stick to, and Marbled Up has definitely been that game for me.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we're in chapter 2 now, and when you're speedrunning this game, you're getting into this part of the run. What's your mindset? Are you really going in for a PB, or are you kind of just waiting to see what happens?
In terms of how I'm feeling when I enter chapter 2, I'm sort of just hoping I can play as clean as I possibly can, because Chapter 2 has been a big barrier for me in the full game category for a long time.
Right.
Mostly because in the PB before the one that I'm racing against in this run, my Chapter 2 was pretty much close to flawless in terms of the strats I was going for. So it's very hard to sort of improve on top of that.
Hard to race against that with the comparison.
Oh yeah, definitely. It made it so with almost every full game attempt I would go through with, every time I'd get out Chapter 2, I'd be behind or I'd lose time. So it was definitely very demotivating. But I think sort of just trying to have a refresher on that and just not worry too much about Chapter 2, and maybe try and be a bit more innovative with strats, sort of allowed me to have a bit of breathing room there, and again, stay disciplined and not reset. And I definitely think, doing more no reset runs definitely helped me get through. But yeah, my mindset with Chapter 2 did have a bit of a drastic change, surrounding this run we're watching now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying watching this run. Like I said earlier, before we started the recording, I have watched this run before, but it was way back when you first accomplished it. And I've kind of forgotten, like you, a lot of the actual specifics of what's going to happen. So little surprises like that archipelago unfortunate misstep, and then but also some really cool and fast strats that I've already been seeing. Very, very fun and exciting to watch this kind of run.
Yeah, definitely. When it comes to when I finish a run, I can almost always remember what the split times were for each chapter.
Really?
But a lot of the times, but a lot of the times I failed to remember exactly what happened in those splits, or like what went well and what went what went right. So it definitely does pay off to go back and watch your runs and see exactly where you need to improve and where you can save time when you finally do race against those splits.
Nice. And speaking of going back and watching the run, it's kind of fun to see all of your different split names. I know my name is covering that up a little bit here, but Sweet Pain, Single Jump Strats are the kinds of names that you gave to your splits.
Yeah, I forgot. I forgot about Sweet Pain. Yeah, I think it's a fitting name for the level, which you'll see chat when it comes up. I don't know. I think this was like the second or third run I've ever done with level splits and the auto splitter. But I did definitely want to be sort of a bit creative with the level names, just to divvy things up a bit. I saw how Space Kitty, the newer Space Kitty, she had a lot of creative names for her level splits, and right. I thought that was pretty funny, and I thought I'd add a bit of my own humor to my own split names. But here we are in Sugar Rush, the Sweet Pain, so that's fun.
Yeah, very cool. And also cool to see newer community members already coming in and inspiring people to try new things with their streams and with their splits and with their speedruns and everything. It shows you kind of how vibrant this community is, even, almost 3 years now since it was first launched.
Yeah, for sure. It's always good to see new faces and see new sort of realms of knowledge into this community, and new ideas being sprung left and right. It's always good to, spread that knowledge and have, a lot of discussions of, sharing concepts, ideas, thoughts, everything. It's greater to have, more people to be able to do that, especially with such a small niche game like this one. It's amazing to see, and it's the absolute best thing.
Nice. I love seeing that too.
Yeah.
So what do you look forward to the most when you're, let's say, just getting ready to do a speed run? Which parts of it stand out to you as some of the most fun elements of this game?
It's just the interactions with the community, really. Like getting on my stream, just having a good time, having fun.
Let's take a moment. What was that?
So that was old IL for River Vantage, and I landed that in full game.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, I popped off in the run when I landed that. The setup I used there was found by Umbra Sunset. You may be familiar with.
That's right.
I think he sort of showed myself and a few other community members that setup a couple of weeks before, and so I just casually went for it as I was talking with chat, and it worked perfectly. That's one of the best attempts I've gotten of River Vantage with that particular setup. So I was very happy to get that.
And how clutch do you have to be to land that in your first sub 40 run?
Yeah,
almost nobody gets that.
Yeah, thinking back on that, like when I finished the run, I was like, wow, I got old IL River Vantage in a full game run. Like that was insane. And this was like the first point in the run where I was far ahead, so I was feeling really good. Chat was having a great time. Like this was one of the highlights of the run, and so I'm glad that you H dude could see that and all the chat could see that.
Yeah, really cool. It's kind of hard to miss.
Yeah, it's one of the most memorable parts of the run, and it every time I think about it, puts a smile on my face. It's really cool.
Very cool. So yeah, I know I interrupted you there, but you're talking about just interacting with the community and having chat and stuff in your, having people come by and chat with you during your runs, and yeah, I can relate to that for sure. It's cool. I know there's a lot of overlap between. Basically, everyone who streams this game has many of the same viewers. So, you can go into somebody else's stream and say hi, and then you go live the next day, and the same people are there talking to you. It's very fun.
Yeah, exactly. We do share a lot of the same viewers, and I think that helps us we sort of grow together in a way, and I think that helps us become more tight-knit as time goes on, which is one of my favorite sort of aspects of having a smaller gaming or speedrunning community.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Savadra is saying that he loves you, and
Aww.
It's very sweet. Second try coggers. That's pretty good. Definitely.
Yeah.
Taking a death on coggers is very. It's disappointing, but it's definitely doable in a sub 40 run.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of backups you can do on coggers if you do miss that skip. And I feel like I'm quite proficient with those backups. It's difficult because those particular backups, they're hard to put into practice. You just have to hope you get them. Yeah. And with the death that I had there, the way that my marble moved, it was hard to really set up for any backups.
There's no saving that.
Exactly, but it was a no reset run. I was far ahead. Chapter 3 otherwise was very good, so I was feeling good. I thought, you know what, second try, it's better than being stuck here for the next couple of minutes. So I just took it and kept going.
Yeah, and you're definitely in the green there. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of my name here altogether, I think, just so we can see your splits a little bit better. Hopefully you guys know who I am.
Wait, who are you again? You're the guy that does Speedrunner Showcase, right? Or am I thinking of someone else?
That would be, I don't know. Never heard of it. But yeah, you're basically a minute ahead of your PB, which is a fantastic pace to be on.
Yeah.
So nice job.
Yeah, it was honestly kind of scary being this far ahead against these splits in a no reset run. I did definitely start to get a bit shaky around this point in the run because the start of Chapter 4 is pretty, I wouldn't say unfamiliar to me, I'd just say it needs work. And I think what I struggle with most in the early game of Chapter 4 is the mental game, I always think I'm not a good enough runner to, do this trick consistently or do this simple start. So I think it's hard for me to say exactly what I can do to combat that mental game. Sometimes it's just about having a good day, or just being in a good mood.
That's true. But
that's
also,
just how I feel like with this part of the run.
Yeah, but also you've proven to yourself now. I mean, obviously it's not a perfect run, but nobody's is. We haven't had any perfect runs that have ever happened in this game, but you've proven it to yourself now, after landing this sub 40, that you can do an excellent job on it.
Yeah, for sure. I think, finally having that sub 40 sort of opened my eyes as to like what's possible for me with this game. And considering, I still have a long way to go. Like, I think just, the fact that I have this run shows me that there is a lot more headroom I have left to explore, which makes me just want to play the game even more. So I'm definitely excited for the future. Yeah.
Absolutely. And, again, 900 hours is a lot of hours, but
Yeah.
People continue to improve and to gain mastery in things they've been doing well after, thousands of hours.
Yeah, that's true. I think people have different ways of learning, different ways of playing the game. It's those kinds of differences that just makes this speed game in this community very interesting. There's a lot of unexplored dynamics, undiscussed dynamics that I think just amount to the beauty of this game and this speedrun. So it definitely makes things very interesting, and it makes when you watch any sort of unique player. Like every single person's gameplay is different, and that's what I love about it. In such like a basic concept of a game where you're just rolling a ball to a goal, which I think is, it's a very hopeful outlook, and I'm glad that outlook is there for us to sort of gaze upon.
It's very simple, and simplicity leads to maybe some possibility for a lot of creativity and a lot of the personality out of the player to come through in a lot of ways.
Yeah, definitely. It allows for people to shine and sort of just show everyone what they've got, and just seeing that and seeing people find themselves in this game and find what works for them and what doesn't is also very interesting as well.
A lot of that is maybe a little bit universal in the context of speedrunning and certain levels and types of competitive gaming in general. So it definitely transfers from community to community, but we've built that together in a lot of ways from scratch.
We definitely have, yeah. I think every speedrun we complete, every time save we can land, and every strat we find helps sort of grind down the frames of this game collectively. And I think if we can sort of enjoy that unification as much as we can, we can make this game as great as possible, regardless of whether we're playing classic or mayhem or what have you, and having that kind of teamwork, it's just good to see. And that death was really rough. It was a real sort of halt to my momentum on Dire Straits here.
Yep, I've done that a few too many times to that I would actually like to admit.
Yeah, for sure. I was actually going to go for the forward strat here and go for like the sub 30 Dire Straits route, but because of that death, I sort of forced myself to go for the safer backward strat because I was more familiar with it.
Yep.
I didn't want to risk going for something that I was still learning and just lose more time. I thought it would just be best to keep a level head and just keep it going.
That's a good mindset.
Yeah, definitely. Especially coming to close to the midpoint of the run. You don't want to lose too much time here, otherwise, especially in my case, it'll be hard to stay positive about the run. I feel like.
I can relate. I can definitely relate. Here we are on Diamond in the Sky. I assume you're doing a setup for the skip here. This is something you've practiced a fair bit.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun skip. There are some,
fun, isn't it?
Excuse me. Yeah, it is fun. There are some intricacies to it that can sort of catch you off guard.
Definitely.
So it definitely counts putting in the attempts, whether you're doing Chapter 4 RTA or full game. So definitely always keep your eyes out for every little bounce, every little jump. Make the most out of it that you can.
And a nice smooth finish to Chapter 4. It looks like you're going to be saving quite a bit here on Chapter 4 overall.
Yeah. It's pretty cool to see. I mean, even just watching this run now, to see that time save. I don't know. It's cool. It's always a good feeling to be in green.
Yeah, but how often do you see yourself a minute and 25 seconds ahead?
At this point in the run, this hasn't happened for a long time before this run. So it was a lot of mix of emotions, definitely.
This is a difficult game, for sure. There's always going to be, even among top runners, there are major mistakes sometimes that can lose quite a lot of time. But being able to pick yourself up from that and keep a level head, like you were saying, and then find your encouragement where you can from those time saves that you are able to land. That really separates somebody who is going to become a great runner and continue to improve versus somebody who maybe gets stuck at trying to get a sub 50 and they never really push themselves any further.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying there. I feel like definitely at that point of trying to figure out where I wanted to go with this game, I think there was an equal possibility of me taking full game category as far as I wanted to, and also me just giving up and sticking to playing the game casually or just not playing the game at all. There was definitely a point of crossroads there, and well, this is the path I'm on now, and I'm glad to be on it. I'm glad I didn't give up in the end, so it was cool. It's always good to see
anything in
the
particular
result.
that made you want to stick with it?
It's a good question. I think a couple of runs before this one, sorry, give me a second.
Sure.
It's actually a perfect time for me to take a drink because we're on stay and sip right now.
Stay and sip? Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very nice. Obviously, stay and skip is one of the flashiest tricks that somebody could do in a run, but this is not that.
Yeah.
Still,
No, but to answer your question, Age, I think the 4257 that I got about 4 months before this run definitely put me in the right direction and gave me the momentum I wanted and needed to keep going with this category. Because my PB before that 42 was a 45, a high 45, and at that point, that's still a respectable time. But I thought that was going to be the ballpark of where I would stick around for a while in full game. I would. If I was going to PB next, I'd PB by maybe only 10 seconds or something.
Okay.
But then one day I just got on, I landed a 42, a 3-minute PB, and I was like, wow, I can play this game pretty fast. This is really cool. And I'm like, sub 40 is possible. I can do it. I just got to put the work in. So that definitely kept me going. And then that 42.57 was my only PB for 4 months in this category, which was a little bit depressing, but I think having that time hang over my head and then continuing to still learn strats in my spare time sort of said, it sort of said to me, I have to get this sub 40 now. I don't have a choice, I don't have an excuse anymore. So I just went for it.
And it also says that the 42 was a really strong PB at the time when you said it, right? And the stronger your PB is, the harder it's going to be to beat.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most important lessons I ever learned. And for some background chat, the run I'm comparing to in this run is a 42.53 that I got the day before this run. So that was that 42.53 was the first PB I'd gotten in 4 months. So to get that after such a long drought was such a good feeling, even if it was just a 4-second PB. Because that 42.53, that was a good run. That was a no reset first run of the stream.
Yep.
I was 2 minutes behind at the start of chapter 6, and I still ended up PBing. So I think, at that point, my chat started being really encouraging of me, as they always are. I love my chat.
Your chat's pretty
and
great.
They sort of, and they said to me, listen, you were behind so far, you're multiple minutes behind and you still PB'd, you've got sub 40 in the bag. And I was just like, you know what? I think I agree with you, I actually believe in myself now. And then, the next day I got on.
This.
Exactly. I got on next day. I did this run. It was surreal, honestly. I didn't think it would happen so fast, after, knowing I could actually do it. So definitely some things are just unpredictable, and that's just the amazing part of it. It makes things exciting.
And I feel like while we're on the topic, naturally we have to talk about now that it's been a few weeks after you set this run, where do you see yourself in terms of maybe trying to beat it in the future?
That's a good question. I do have some goals in mind, considering the time I can make up in this run, just using the same strats as you see here. Mm-hmm. I definitely think going for the 38 is more than reasonable.
Okay.
And since I did complete this run, I sort of went to and got to work putting in the practice for additional strats.
Right.
Which I'm still in progress of. But I think after I got this run, there was a lot of talk about finding a consistent setup for stay and skip. And so naturally, with the community sort of heading in that direction, I decided to come up with my own setup for the trick on traditional keyboard without control turning.
Right.
Which I did find a setup, and it's consistent enough for me.
That's great.
So I'm definitely looking forward to finding the time to put some more full game attempts in and finally go for stay and skip in a run. Like that's definitely going to be very, very exhilarating. So considering,
no kidding.
Considering I can see in my mind I can do that trick along with some of the other things I've been practicing. I feel like shooting for a 37 is reasonable in that ballpark. So I think it's just about cool. Yeah, it's just about shooting for the next minute barriers, I guess, and seeing what I can do. And yeah, that ending was really rocky. That rock skip, I've died there many times and flipped the table.
It's not even live, and I was clenched.
Yeah, I forgot that happened. I forgot it was that close.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah, and this is the part of run where the chat's screaming at me to buffer jump. Yeah.
Yeah, vertigo can be a little bit punishing if you don't get up there on your first go.
Yeah, for sure. But I think the strats you're seeing me go for here on vertigo, these are the first times I'm going for them in a run. Like I literally learned these I learned these just before the run.
Okay. As you were saying that, I was half expecting you to hit the spinner, but glad you didn't go for that.
Yeah, no, Hatchet was very helpful. He taught me these vertigo strats before this run. I put some work into practicing them, and they're pretty straightforward to go for. So I was more than comfortable with going for that.
Nice. And look at that timer. Does that say 2 minutes and 53 seconds ahead?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Wow, that's a very big lead for anybody to have over their PB.
Oh yes, yeah. It was. I think this was the first part in the run where I sort of said to myself, "Okay, this is where you focus. This is no longer just a no reset run for fun or warm up. This is a run.
It's not even just a PB attempt at this point. You're going for the sub 40.
Oh yeah, I'm going for broke. Like this is it. I need to save as much time as I possibly can."
It's so cool watching this again after a few weeks because. You kind of get to relive it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think with such a monumental achievement like this in a game that I've put so much hours into, it sort of takes a while to sink in. It's almost surreal. So being able to relive that is it allows me to give more credit to myself and believe in myself more as a player, which is one of the biggest parts of the mental game I struggle with. So, just giving myself that pat on the back and, saying, you did good, keep going is, to some people it may not seem like much, but to me it's the most important thing. And it's just a little motivation can mean the world, so.
Nice. Well, we're 3 minutes and 50 seconds ahead going into chapter 6. That, I guess, puts you on 39 pace? If you were to match chapter 6 here, or very close to it.
Yeah.
Or I guess maybe potentially a low 38 or a high 38.
Yeah, high 38 I think was the pace around Danger Zone here. This was, I think, the first point where I was actually, on pace for a sub 40, coming out of Pit of Despair into Danger Zone.
Okay.
And when this hit me, I said to myself, okay, I'm comparing against my chapter 6 PB. As long as I get close to that, then I've got this in the bag. I just need to play level-headed and, stay calm, essentially. This was the first point in the run where I started to get the nerves and I started to feel very tense and sort of assess the gravity of the situation.
Still managed to land that very clean. Danger Zone finish.
Yeah, that fast Danger Zone finish. I think that was like one of the first times I've landed that in RTA. So to do that. Yeah, to do that was very, very refreshing. Cool. It's very good.
And the way you set up that super speed launch in the beginning of Platinum Playground, that was actually really cool. I don't think I've seen anyone set it up quite that way.
Yeah, I have a lot of weird ways that things work for me in this game. I feel like my playstyle compared to, well, really anyone in this community or any top player is very unorthodox. I have a lot of weird routes and strats that I go for, and I think a lot of that stems from my stubbornness to learn new things or
Okay.
to, you know, um, just try new things. Mostly because it's all imposter syndrome. I don't see myself as someone that can go for the strats that people suggest,
Okay.
And of course, there's a lot of memes in this community of oh, this thing is free, this thing is free, and sometimes it's hard to see when people are joking,
Right.
when people are being genuine.
Yeah,
But no,
that's true.
yeah, these wall gems is something I definitely need to learn. I don't think I can. I think putting aside my stubbornness is definitely going to be beneficial going forward. And yeah, losing time there to wall gems was not a great feeling, but I thought, the Platinum Playground I'm comparing against here wasn't perfect, so I just sort of looked for the best part of that situation and just went for it. And sometimes that's the best thing you can do in a bad situation. Just look for even the smallest bits of thinking, oh, this isn't the end of the world. Just
Definitely.
take every second you can.
And I hope you know, even just by the fact that you're here, or that you're on the short list of sub 40 runners, that you definitely are a top runner in this game, and there's nothing, absolutely nothing separating you from any other member of this community.
It feels weird to hear that, but I think I prefer it hearing it from other people rather than telling myself that I'm a top runner, I'm a good player, I'm this or that. Yeah, believing in myself is a demon I continue to fight, and I try not to bring my demons into playing video games or speedrunning or whatever, because a lot of it is just about having fun.
Sure.
But of course, you can't control some things, and in a competitive environment like this, the mental game is going to come into play whether you like it or not.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. But you know what? I am having a blast watching your runs. Not even just your PBs. I mean, I know you haven't been putting in a lot of attempts since you landed this PB a few weeks ago. But even up to that point, just seeing your attempts and seeing your progression has been a real treat for me, personally. And I could probably speak for the community, but I don't have to. I'll just say for myself, like, it's been great.
Well, yeah, I'm glad you could say that. Sometimes the best part about putting in this work is, the fact that, I do have people here, to sit here and watch that, I guess. So even if I do feel some sort of dissatisfaction, someone is getting something out of it, which is always, that helps brighten my day. And I think that's what, for me, makes streaming these full game attempts so fun. Just having that experience with chat and knowing someone is having a good time because of what I'm doing. It definitely helps take away, some of the stresses and stuff of, trying to speedrun.
Yeah, that's cool. I if I can kind of interject my own personal experience, a lot of the time all my motivation to speedrun has been just because I wanted to stream. And
Right.
Obviously sometimes you have goals and things that you want to do, but just having the chance to hang out with people in chat like yourself, you would come by my stream, or other members of the community, it can be an encouragement. It can be a lot of fun. And then hearing from you that one of the things that you enjoy and that kept you going was having chat and speedrunning kind of happening at the same time. I feel like I relate to that. I can definitely see that. I wouldn't, if not for the ability to hang out with chat, I don't think I would have accomplished much of anything in this game.
Yeah, I think having having supporters and, having fun with friends is probably one of the best ways you can play video games, whether you're speedrunning or not. And yeah, no, even like outside of streaming, just like sitting in like voice call and playing this game with people, whether I'm speedrunning or not, just makes the experience that much more worthwhile. I feel like I'm getting a lot more out of it, It's it's the good old saying of, the more the merrier. And I think that's it's very true, especially with what I've felt in this community.
Nice. Probably a good time to bring up Mayhem. It's in the beta right now on Steam. Have you been playing some of the multiplayer? Are you getting that experience from playing with other people in the multiplayer, or is it feel different?
It's a bit hard to answer that one, mostly because I've had very little time to play Mayhem.
Okay.
Since the beta's gone live. And not only that, but with my system configuration, Mayhem's very unstable on my system particularly.
Okay.
So it's very difficult for me to play the game to its fullest, whether it's single player or multiplayer.
Right.
And because of that, I'm not getting the kind of experience that I would think is ideal, with numerous amounts of game crashes.
Right.
So
hopefully that improves.
Oh god, I hope so. I'm just gonna have Mayhem on the back burner for now, and hope that the future builds are more stable for me.
And is the Steam version the only version that you have, or do you also own the Switch version?
I have the Switch version of Classic Marbled Up.
Okay. But that's not going to be Mayhem for probably a little while.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I'll have Mayhem on the back burner for now, and just hope and pray that things improve over time.
I hope so too.
Yeah, with the good experience I've had with Mayhem though, it has been fun. Interacting with friends, playing multiplayer, all that fun stuff.
Did you get the checkpoint there?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. That's
no. This Olympus, it's notorious. It's notorious for killing runs.
Olympus is tough.
Yeah, I was very much, had my mood killed going into Olympus here because my auto splitter stopped working. So I had to do a hotfix. So that sort of set me off a little bit.
Right.
Especially because it happened last run as well, and like the run before this one. And
that's really
I tried
annoying.
I tried to go back and make sure the settings were correct, and they were, and then to see it go wrong again in this run, sort of made me feel, a little bit ticked off, just having those technical difficulties. And then, having to fix it and, being distracted from the game, I sort of ruined the start I had here on Olympus, and that sort of set off the rhythm of everything.
Yep.
So that led to this time loss that you're seeing here.
And that's honestly one of the challenges of speedrunning, and one of the skills that you learn is, managing to learn how to deal with those things in the moment. It's difficult though.
Oh yeah. A lot of it's adaptation. Whether it's something that's happening on your stream, technical difficulties, trying to execute another strat on the fly. You need to have some backup plans, and you need to learn to accept that adaptation is the way to go. The game's never going to stay the same way. So never get comfortable, and always have an open mind, I think, is the way to go.
If anybody's watching this and you're not totally familiar, the splits and the timer that we see in the top left are optional for speedrunning, but they are very, very helpful for the speedrunner to be able to keep a sense of what's going on and how they're doing in the speedrun so far. So
for sure,
that can be very distracting if it's not working the way that you want it to.
Yeah, it's having a timer is a useful tool when it works properly, and 99% of the time it does work properly. So thank goodness for that.
Yeah. So coming in with a 3:02 Olympus, that is pretty substantial time loss at this point in the run, but you're still so far ahead that you're on track for basically a guaranteed PB.
Yeah, that's for sure. That Olympus was the worst I've ever done in RTA, so that was definitely a huge blow to my self-esteem, in this run. But yeah, landing that tangle there was definitely a huge
first
pick-me-up.
try tangle. That is, it takes skill. It takes consistency.
Yeah.
Not everybody
Tangle
can do that.
Tangle was one of the first things I learned when I started picking up Chapter 6 RTA strats, which I think helped, was an advantage I was happy to pick up on. And so because I was able to land that first try there, I went from coming out of Olympus, no longer on sub 40 pace, and
Yep.
then, landing the tangle and being on sub 40 pace again. So this was like
That's so cool.
this is a this is a very sort of thrilling end to the run to sort of be on sub 40 pace for such a long time, suddenly lose it, and then clutch it back again, like right in the last 2 levels.
Yeah.
It was insane.
I know if I'm on pace, I can't exhale until I finish Tangle. And then, I mean, Stratosphere in itself is a little bit stressful just because it's the end of the run, but there's nothing quite as difficult as the Tangle route going on here.
Stratosphere is a barrier to every player, whether you're a top player or a new speedrunner. It is, it is the final frontier to the time that you wanted so desperately, and it will shut you down and turn you into a mortal, without fail. So you need to give it the respect it deserves and just play clean and reach for the stars.
And you are giving it respect here, not going for potential loop skips because you don't need them to land your goal of sub 40 here. So
yeah, that's correct.
So very good job. And a 39.46. Again, a big milestone for you. Congratulations on your run.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's been amazing. It's good feeling to watch this back and have this sort of interview with you. It's been a really good experience. And yeah, it's just great to see this run end the way it did.
Nice. Yeah, I think again the biggest highlight for me was probably your River Vantage. Phenomenal to be able to land that, and then just the whole run was fun, but none of it was as much fun as talking to you and hearing your thoughts about your streaming and your community, and your time playing Marble It Up, and kind of just being a part of this group of people that have become friends through this community. So I think that's
yeah, for sure.
It's been really valuable to me to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you think that, H dude. Yeah, it's been good to sit here and talk with you about the metagame of Marbled Up and the community that we have here. It's good to sort of spill our brains a little bit and see exactly what comes out. So yeah, no, it's been amazing experience, amazing speedrun, amazing game, and amazing stream.
Awesome. Is there anything else you'd like to say to our viewers at home?
Dear viewers, I'd like to thank you for watching this episode of Speedrunner Showcase. I'm glad to have been a guest on the show, and I'm glad you could watch my 39.46 full game PB here. Just keep an eye out for me going forward. As I said, I'm always learning new strats. I'm always putting in the practice. I will never stop playing this game until I have done what I've set out to achieve. So keep an eye out for me. I plan to keep streaming a bit more. I've been very busy the last month, but I've finally got some free time, so I'm looking forward to put the hours back into this game. So yeah, just keep your eyes out for me, because I feel like things are going to get very shaken up and very exciting. But thank you for watching my speedrun. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being in this community. It's always good to see you around.
Awesome. Go follow Hyran on Twitch, and make sure that you tune in for more Speedrunner Showcases. Hopefully we'll be having more soon in the future. All right. See you guys. Thanks for joining us.
So long.